everyone, and welcome to another of our 15 Minutes webinar series. I'm John Newstreet, President and CEO of the Kissimmee, Osceola County Chamber of Commerce, where we are champions for business and community. When we talk about champions, someone comes to mind, the gentleman next to me here, Larry Walter from Hanson, Walter and Associates. Larry's been a trustee and chamber member for many moons. And we greatly appreciate him, but he's gone above and beyond in service to the chamber as chair of the Growth Management Task Force. And so that's the topic of today, our Growth Management Task Force, who they are, the things that they've done, the things that they're doing, and some of the outlook for the future. So welcome, Larry, and thank you for being with us.
I'm glad to be here. Anytime I can talk about growth management, I'm happy to do that.
Well, let's do it then. Tell me a little bit about what growth management is.
Well, let me tell you how it started, first of all. In 1985, the state approved the land use 9J5 legislation that required all municipalities and local governments, counties included, across the state to have a 20-year comprehensive plan for growth. The chamber at that time decided that that was something that they should be kind of in the lead with, that to find out what that's all about. And so it was originally chaired by Danny Powell, which was a member here and administrator of one of the hospitals. He left shortly after that. I think the committee might have been formed in '86 or something, because people were still trying to figure out what actually 9J5 really meant for the municipalities. When he left, I took over in probably '87 or '88, and I've been there ever since. And it's certainly been the right thing for the chamber to be involved in that, leading the direction of where it's going. So what we do is just like then, the county writes a legislation. Growth management is a group of folks that volunteer, that come and review that legislation and make recommendations to the county. We first ask them, what are you trying to accomplish? And then we review it and try to help them accomplish it, while at the same time, a big chamber deal, protecting property rights, everybody's property rights. So that's what we've been doing for pretty close to 34 years. And the chamber has been very supportive of that process. And I think it's the right thing, right business that the chamber is in. Most people don't realize that we actually do that.
I've worked all over the state, and I've not seen a model like it. I've been here seven plus years at the chamber, and so it's existed before my time, and I just think it's one of the best things this chamber does. Let me rattle off a couple of bullet points, Larry. Correct me if I'm wrong. It meets 9:30 on Thursday mornings here at the chamber in our boardroom, every week as needed, but they don't meet when they don't have to meet. So once a week as needed, and there's been times they've met every week for the course of a year plus. Yeah. So 9:30 on Thursday morning. They've gone to a little bit of a hybrid model lately to accommodate the pandemic, but they're still working. It is open to members and non-members of the chamber, and part of that is it's very technical in its orientation, and so they will take a proposed ordinance on growth management from the county and go through it line by line. Yep. And so very technical, a lot of expertise at the table. You're welcome to join us to provide your perspective or just get a peek around the corner to what may be happening down there at the county. But so I just wanted to stress it's technical in nature. It's open to members and non-members. They meet once a week, and there's a listserv you can see there on the screen. If you want to be on that listserv, just write Angie, and she'll communicate you every week with the rest of the group, whether they are meeting or not meeting and what they may be meeting about. But again, this has been around for quite some time, and it's been a tremendous asset for the chamber and the community. Can you talk real quick? You said the county. I know they have been very supportive as well, but we would welcome the cities. What's the breadth of folks you might invite in to get growth management's help on stuff?
Well, certainly the city of Kissimmee, we've actually reviewed documentation from them. We haven't done much with St. Cloud, but that's okay because they're trying to establish the same kind of committee over there. We invite everybody in. Obviously, it's technical, so there's a lot of professionals in there, whether it be engineers, lawyers, architects, landscape architects, because a lot of it is technical. the thing that really makes growth management work, though, I think, is that we also have some citizens that come in and participate in that. They're obviously bored to tears, or they wouldn't be coming to growth management. But but the truth of the matter is, they finally get to see firsthand, because we do read everything sentence by sentence, and we say, what does that mean to us? How does that affect us? How does that affect the chamber membership, which is business oriented? And how does it affect our community? Most of the people that are come to growth management are long-term members of Osceola County. I mean, long-term. So our community and what's it's turning into is just as important to us as the business part of that. But we learn a lot by reading that, and we've had some folks in there that found out really that growth management's probably the only public committee that actually reads ordinances when they come out and actually understands what the ordinance says.
All right. So again, the fundamental thing we're protecting is property rights. And so, as much as we get into the technical aspects, and I say I flatter myself, I'm not as smart as many of the people in the room doing this hard work. But, looking at the property rights and looking at the technical aspects, it really is a remarkable effort, and it takes time, and it's your volunteer time to get it organized and move it along. How much time do you typically kind of commit to this, would you say?
Well, we commit every week the amount of time from 9:30 to at least 12. And any other time, we try to send the documents out to the Growth Management Committee. Most of them and us, we will read or at least peruse that to see what is going to be on the agenda. And so I'm guessing that we'll spend 5 or 6 hours a week, those that are really involved, looking at the documentation and doing it. It is important. It takes time, but it's important. And when you start talking about property rights, there's nothing more important than that. Not only the existing citizens' property rights, but anybody that buys property to deal with it here in Osceola County, their property rights are just as important. I learned a long time ago that in a property rights issue, if you have people that are willing to take your property rights, I always look at them and say, believe me, they will be back to get yours.
Right.
So it is best for us to protect property rights from the very beginning so that we don't have that issue. I understand, and growth management understands, that in a developing urban community, we do need to have legislations and rules to operate by. What we try to protect in that is to not take those property rights away as we're trying to develop an urbanizing community.
So we've got 7.5 minutes. What's in front of you right now? And you give them a taste of, some of what we look at.
Well, some of the more fun things that we get involved in is transportation and school impact fees, or water and sewer impact fees. People don't realize it. They affect everything. The school needs funds to build infrastructure with that is caused by development. The rules for development impact fees is that they have to be used only for the impacts that are created by the development. So you cannot use impact fees to fix existing problems with. So right now we're working on the school. They're every few years they're doing an impact reevaluation. We got into that situation because one time that was 15 years, and by the time they reevaluated it, it went up so high, just about everybody in the county passed out. But we got through that, and we understand it. We don't necessarily like impact fees, but they're just kind of a necessary thing that we have to have now. The school is coming back because this is the year of their evaluation. It's kind of a strange year in that we've been in the COVID situation, been a lot of people not in school. So it's going to be interesting to see how the data, the demographics, the projections, and that sort of stuff, how they come out of this. And we will be doing that next Thursday. Please tune in. This is going to be interesting stuff here. I've got to still review this packet before I go in there. We just got through with some other adjustments for the mobility fee, doing their normal adjustments. We just got through looking at some policy changes through the county that deals with drainage and some other issues that are out there. It's real important to find out what the issue is from the county, because we want to make sure that the legislation is very definitive.
Well, we've got just a few minutes left. So perhaps someone watching this doesn't understand mobility fee or impact fee, and not to get into the technical aspect, but why would it matter to them? Why is this work so important, right?
Well, let me just say that impact fees in general cost about $25,000 before it's all said and done, depending on what it is for a residential unit. So it certainly affects housing prices. It affects infrastructure. It affects all of those things. It is a really tight balance between regulation, impact fees, and affordable housing. And so obviously we need affordable housing. So it's a tough balance in there that the community has to deal with. So that's why impact fees are important. They're required by state law to be only over certain things. Growth management reviews that, make sure they fit into that envelope, at least in our opinion, or not. That's kind of why they're so important.
So, I guess it's worthy to point out that, we can all get frustrated sitting at the traffic light or wondering why there are so few houses to choose from when we're looking to move. But there's a lot of moving parts, and it all comes back to some of this very fundamental work that growth management has tackled for 25 years along with our county. So I don't know if you want to elaborate on that. But.
Well, a lot of folks, it depends on which side you talk on. A lot of folks say we need growth management. Why aren't we managing growth? Well, if you're involved in the system, you would realize that between the land development code and the future land use plan, that's about 2 binders that's over 3 inches thick for requiring a management of growth. So growth is being managed. I think what they're trying to say is you're not managing it the way I want it to be managed. But, that's neither here nor there. We've got 5 commissioners that are elected. They go through a process. They have a professional staff to actually write the future land use and the land development code. It took probably 10 to 12 years to put all that together, because it all had to be approved by the state too. So when you put some of this stuff together, it's just not the county. The state has an approval process that they have to approve. And in lots of cases, the state changes what the county wants to do. In more cases than not, it becomes more restrictive when the state gets involved in it. So that's kind of the story about all that. But what's important is that we as chamber members and the general public stay on top of it.
So the work continues. 9:30 every Thursday morning. Again, the email is listed for you to get notice when they are meeting and what topics. Again, some very important, very relevant topics on the table right now, especially with the school impact fees. We want a great education. The chamber supports great education, but there's got to be balance, and there are some things that we all work together. So just know for 25 plus years that the Growth Management Task Force and the Kissimmee Chamber of Commerce have worked very hard to make this community better, to do things the right way. It should be noticed, and I forgot to mention this in my bullet points, the benefit of how this system works is we get all the technical experts in the room to work through this. So by the time it goes to the commission, it's really a good product that we know about.
That's what we hope for.
And so the bad end of it would be they don't work with us. They bring it to the commission. And so there's 3 hours of testimony saying you got this wrong, you got this wrong, you got this wrong, and potentially lawsuits on the back end because they got it wrong. And so growth management has really helped, I believe, and I'm not alone, that it's a better process to do it all on the front end where everybody has a voice and awareness so that it goes smoother as it goes through the process. Is that fair?
That's very fair. And I think just one comment on that is in all the years that growth management's been operating, not once have we actually voted for something to approve it. I mean, we're not the commission.
Right.
We don't have that authority. And so it's up to them to decide what they approve and don't approve. Our job is to make sure that we've reviewed it and we know what it says and we know what the ramifications of all that change is going to be. And we try to make sure that our membership knows that. Our membership knows that every once in a while, growth management or through you will send out something and say, hey, this is going on.
Mm-hmm.
This isn't important to you. You need to tell us how you feel about it.
Right. So I appreciate you being with us today, Larry. Again, this is about Growth Management Task Force here at the Chamber. We welcome you to participate. The information to do so is on the screen, and we will keep doing it, but just know that a lot of people are looking out for your best interest, and your voice is welcome in that mix. So, Larry, thanks for the conversation this morning, for being with us, for all you've done for the Chamber over
Glad
this
to
time.
do it.
And
Chamber's a great organization.
Well, you're kind. Well, because of great people like you. So thanks for watching us today, and we'll see you next week.
Have a great one.